That is the hardest part of that ring.
For the hardest part of the ring.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the hardest part of the ring.
Hello and welcome to episode number 49 of Hardest Part of the Ring, the podcast where four friends get together to discuss the wonder of professional wrestling. I'm Adam, and with me as always is Sam.
Hello.
And John.
Hello.
And Brett.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. I am excited for this one.
Yeah?
Yeah? Are we all excited?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
it's a
actually
good
am.
pay-per-view.
I watched it today, so I am fresh.
Oh my God. You're going to be so fresh. Right, we expect
So
all the
fresh and so
deep
clean.
insight. Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe not clean.
I had the best laid intentions to watch this live, and about 10 minutes in, I fell asleep.
You've got to be so committed to do it live, haven't you? Because it's like,
Yeah.
up until like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's never happening for me. I will always fall asleep.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when they're this long. But anyway, yeah, you may have guessed, listeners, that we're here to talk about Survivor Series 2018, which we're going to do shortly. Last week we did our top 5 bad taste moments in WWE, which was awful, some of it, wasn't it? But still fun to do. So go and listen to that if you haven't already. We are going to talk briefly about NXT TakeOver when we get to our hardest question of the week. But for now, we're going to talk about Survivor Series 2018 after this.
Let me tell you guys, that's the hardest part of the ring right there. That's where that steel goes down, and a lot of, I'm going to tell you, you don't want to land right there.
WWE Survivor Series 2018, the one night of the year where we hear the phrase, the one night of the year, far too much. It took place at the Staples Center, Los Angeles, with an attendance of 16,320, which I'm just taking from Michael Cole because Wikipedia doesn't actually have that stat.
I'm going to hold you up right there because I don't trust Michael Cole's maths after this pay-per-view.
Right.
Because, in the span of 5 minutes, Daniel Bryan was introduced at £210.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar was introduced at £265. And then Michael Cole came out with, there's a £100 difference between these two wrestlers. So let's take that with a grain of salt.
Okay, cool. Well, there's anywhere between 10,000 and 400,000 people at the Staples Center.
Nice.
Good crowd.
The card for Survivor Series this year, there was a pre-show, and we're going to get an update from pre-show Jones on this. It was the tag team Survivor Series match between Team SmackDown and Team Raw, of course. What happened, Jones?
It was great. There was loads going on
it?
in this, obviously, because there were loads of people. But there was, I'll mention a couple of spots. There was something that I think happened throughout this show where there was definitely some botches, but there were some amazing spots as well. So, Chad Gable, German suplexed, I can't remember who it was now, someone from SmackDown.
Yeah.
From the top turnbuckle to the outside of the ring on top of the rest of the guys all stood there.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
That was
Ouch.
amazing enough.
Huh.
And then I think it was Chad Gable again later on, did a moonsault, which was meant to go on to Big E, but Big E caught him on his shoulder and did his move on him. And it was there's some real sweet spots in this.
I mean, Chad Gable really does deserve better.
But
Yes.
I'm going to call you out right now and say I don't think there was a pre-show because I tell you what, the rest of the commentary team would not acknowledge it.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't count towards a score, does it? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
SmackDown one doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
And I'll give the pre-show one other quick shout out. There was an interview with Drake Maverick on there where it was just so funny. Jerry tried to make short jokes at his expense.
Was he taking on a lot of fluids during this interview?
Yeah, drinking loads of water.
And Drake just cut him straight down with some great lines. So that is worth having a little peek
What
at.
teams were involved from Raw? Do they even have enough tag teams?
It was the Revival B team.
Oh,
Colons, were they in there?
They were SmackDown. Was it Connor and
the
his mate?
Ascension.
Yeah, the Ascension. Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. Is that enough? I'm missing one, aren't I?
Yeah.
The Lucha House Party?
Yes, that's it. Nailed it.
Nice. The rest of the card on the main show. Thanks for that, by the way, Brett. I appreciate you sitting through all of that for
Pre-show
those
Jones.
few short minutes.
Oh, it's worth it.
Listener, just imagine the shit that pre-show Jones has to endure over the last year.
So true. The rest of the card then, we started off with a Women's Survivor Series match. Then we had Shinsuke Nakamura versus Seth Rollins, The Bar versus Authors of Pain, Buddy Murphy versus Mustafa Ali, the Men's Survivor Series match, Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair, and Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan. And we're going to start off by focusing in on probably the four main matches, the key matches before the pay-per-view anyway. And we're going to kick things off with Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey. And what I think we should do is talk just a bit about the main sort of the match first and then the aftermath, because I think we could easily just get carried away with the aftermath and miss some of this other stuff. So who wants to kick us off?
Me.
John.
Yeah, go for it.
Match of the night, right?
Easily. Easily.
Well,
Yeah.
I disagree.
Oh, it was
You're
brutal. Come on, it's so scrappy and hard-hitting. It felt like a proper legit fight, like two women just absolutely knocking lumps out of each other.
Yeah, and there were so many great transitions and spots as well in this match.
Yeah.
It was a very good match. I really enjoyed it.
It was great. I loved it.
Yeah, I love that bit where Ronda was really fired up and then Charlotte just smacked her with a spear.
That spear. I loved that. That was great. I think one of the things, well, it's going to be a theme when we're talking about this pay-per-view, is just how many sort of moments there were where you thought, yeah, here we go with this thing that we see a lot, and then suddenly there was some sort of swerve or something else happened that you just did not expect, and that was one of them. It's like, here we go, she's going to do all her strikes, and then the spear came. It was brilliant.
Yeah. I thought this match was a little bit weird. I thought there was bits of it that were they looked a bit sloppy and rough, to be honest.
But I think that just added to it. It made it feel a bit more real.
I thought so.
I felt like that was intentional in this one as well.
That's cool. Yeah, I can absolutely see that. I think kind of, for me, the talking point of the match is kind of basically what happened after the match. I think the match itself was a great match, but kind of, I don't think it's the best match of either of these people I've seen.
I don't know. I think that's harsh. I think this was.
I think what we need to tell the listeners, Brett, is that Sam is not very well still. I'm not saying that's affecting his mood, but it could. Okay, just a little caveat there.
I mean, there's the possibility.
Yeah.
What I found interesting about this is... Sorry, just to bring it back onto wrestling, guys.
Okay, go.
I felt that this match would have been exactly the same if we had Becky in it.
Yeah.
I think it would have been the same result, almost exactly the same match.
Yeah, I think it would have had those same elements. I don't think it would have been as good, but that's only me.
Oh, it's because you bloody hate Becky Lynch.
Brett, you still ill?
I like Becky Lynch. Charlotte's just a much better wrestler.
God, you're gonna get so much heat for that, Brett. So much heat.
Bring it on.
You Nia sympathiser.
You were DMing Niall beforehand, weren't you? Like, what we should do, Niall?
Just
Becky's so
in the
mouthy.
face.
Just
Just put her back in her place.
Are you offering to do some merch for Nia now for free? You don't do it for free for any of the other wrestlers, and then you're going to do it for free for her. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
What do we think about that elbow, that stray elbow that smacked her in the cheek when Ronda started bleeding? That I got to admit, I was a bit annoyed there because just before Ronda went into the turnbuckle, which looked nasty, and then all of a sudden she was bleeding, and I rewound it a couple of times, and I was like, oh, I think I can see where that blood came from. And I made some notes. I was like, it actually looks like it happened there. And then fucking Michael Cole pointed it out, and there was a replay, and I didn't need to do it. Annoying.
Sorry, you had a nice story for the podcast, though.
Exactly, yeah.
That's
what it's all about, really.
The match had a rough edge to it, which I think kind of was cool.
Yeah.
And
I think what
particularly did like the ending.
Yeah, I think what I loved about this match was I think both brought a bit of their own background to it. So like there was definitely like this is the world of wrestling, and then there was also, this is the world that I'm from with the UFC. So therefore some bits felt to me more intentionally scrappy, but there was like that was all the fighting, and the throwing punches and kicks and stuff, and trying to counter some of the moves or get out of a submission move. But like there was obviously there was all these great transitions into arm bars and triangles from Ronda, and then there was that bit where she had Charlotte in a triangle, and then Charlotte lifted her up, and then it turned into a Boston Crab.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And then she sort of like Ronda came back through again and like kicked out of it. It was just like there was so many cool points in this that it did feel like a more of a fight than
It really did, and they both sold really well.
Yeah, but with great moves.
That's
in
actually
there.
really something I want to point out is I think Ronda Rousey is one of the best sellers in WWE at the moment.
Even when she went back up the ramp, she was still hobbling, like holding, like selling a leg.
I mean, it did help that she did legitimately get beaten the shit out of.
Man,
You
she
could
got
see it.
I know, she was covered in bruises.
Let's move on to that bit then.
So yeah, I've always thought that kind of like I wouldn't mind taking a shot from a kendo stick. It doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, me too.
Then Charlotte was like, actually, this is what a kendo stick can do.
Yes.
And holy shit.
Well, what did you think when the DQ happened? I was like, fucking hell, I'm really enjoying this. I'm gutted about this. And this isn't what should happen. And I think we talked before, maybe not on the pod, but separately, about how, well, I personally thought it'd be nice for Charlotte to possibly win this, Ronda to sort of be humbled a little bit. She's not quite ready to beat the Queen and all that. And I was gutted. And then as the beatdown went on, I thought, hang on a minute, this is amazing. I love this.
Yep.
Yeah, I was the same. I was like, fucking hell, WWE. Like,
Yeah.
this is such an awesome match and it deserves a great finish and you're going to end it. But while that was going through my head, I was like, I get it, because you're not putting either one of these over each other yet. And because you weren't meant to have this match up yet. And then like the beating went on and went on. And
It went on and on and on.
Ronda was just covered in welts everywhere, purple bruising on her
Bleeding
arms
ear.
and legs, and it was just
So I think kind of like the result of this match was actually because of the previous 5 matches or however many, where it was kind of meant, it became very obvious very quickly, oh, this is going to be a Raw whitewash.
yeah.
That, you know, Charlotte was never going to get the rub here. But I think kind of they dealt with this really well. Like kind of they put Charlotte over. They still managed to pull off the Raw story.
I think that's where some of the, like what I was saying, the background of the wrestling background over the UFC background came in, because like, you know, Charlotte brought out the kendo sticks and the chair and, you know, all that stuff. And that's
Don't
like,
get those in UFC.
that's the world of, you know, WWE. So I thought that was great.
I think actually my biggest compliment of this match, and generally compliment of Survivor Series this year, is that a lot of the time Survivor Series feels like the kind of forgotten son of the big 4 WWE pay-per-views, and it's a lot of because they don't want to put one show over the other. So you have a lot of matches where it's just like, we don't want to make one show look better than the other sort of thing. It's kind of inconsequential matches where
you expect
that doesn't matter.
You expect a 50-50 split, didn't you, really?
Exactly. And this year it just, you know, they've built something. They've built something where hopefully they're going to develop it further. It's not just like a one-off, like, you know, the bizarre shit that happened last year. So, yeah, very cool.
Yeah. And, I mean, obviously we've had this is a big heel turn from Charlotte, even though she was kind of getting booed by the crowds. And do you think this is like the end of... I mean, we're going to move on and talk about all of the Ronda stuff and the fact that she got booed and the traditional straight down the line faces and heels. Do you think that's over now? Because
I don't know if it's over with the fans. I don't think WWE cares. As long as people are in the arenas making a noise, I don't think they really care.
No.
Yeah.
Do you care?
I
though,
wasn't
John?
expecting
Do you
Ronda
care?
to get booed. I thought that was a bit weird, actually.
Yeah, I actually do care. I kind of... You need someone to cheer for.
When did Ronda get booed?
She was getting booed.
At
like
the end,
people
when
were
she was
shouting
getting
like,
beaten
"Thank
up."
you, Charlotte." Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
and I went back.
Charlotte was laying the beat down.
I went back and watched both the Ronda Charlotte match and the Brock Bryan match today because I love them both. Spoiler. There was actually a lot more booing and a lot more dissension from the crowd than I'd noticed before. They were doing the thank you, Charlotte. They were saying you deserve it when Ronda was getting beaten down. There was loads of booing when she was standing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
They were
notice
also
that.
chanting Becky at the end as well, though.
And loads
Yeah.
of
Oh, God, yeah.
It's like they only care about Becky.
I mean, WWE with this match have done a great job in that beforehand, all the wrestling world was talking about was Becky and Ronda, pretty much. That was it.
Yeah.
But now Charlotte's kind of in this match has kind of inserted herself into that conversation. Like,
Yeah.
it kind of feels like the only match they can do at Mania now is triple
It's
threat.
a triple threat. And Charlotte's now had these 2 back-to-back amazing matches at pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Like she's more ready than anyone else to headline WrestleMania.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what a horrible little mirror of this whole situation where Charlotte inserted herself into Becky's moment
Yeah.
with the Carmella thing, and now
Yeah.
she's just done the same thing again. And yeah,
It's good.
Dunno.
It's so good though. I mean,
It's very good.
is the WWE women's division the best thing? I mean, it's the best thing in WWE at the moment. I mean, it's one of the best things in wrestling at the moment, isn't it?
it's certainly one of the most engaging.
Yeah.
Only at the top, though. I mean, the rest of the divisions...
That's fine by me though. 'Cause it's
Well,
just
I don't
so
know.
good.
I think there's some interesting stuff going on in the women's divisions at the moment.
Yeah, I just, like always, I just don't think they get enough time in the weekly shows to do more than the top tier.
It's just, multi-woman tag match on Raw. That's about it.
Yeah. But maybe if they keep having these kind of matches, then maybe they'll get more chances. Who knows? I mean, Evolution was brilliant and had a lot of good reviews, so you never know.
And this match was absolutely killer. It really was.
Yeah,
It was.
Yeah, watching it again is recommended, because I always say I'm going to watch things again, never do. And it was great this morning just to watch it and not be making notes and not, as we say, sort of thinking about talking points, just to watch and enjoy it. It was great. Good. The next match was the follow-up match to that, the main event, another match which I think we're going to talk about in a lot of detail, and it was Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan. And the definition of a match of 2 halves, would you say?
Definitely.
So
Wow.
I would say this was actually my match of the night.
I
thought this
they're,
was great.
They're both on the same level for me. But go on, Sam. Why did
Really?
you like it? Why do you like it?
All right, so kind of the initial build-up with kind of Daniel Bryan sort of playing this weird heel, which I'm really digging at the moment. This kind of no interviews, kind of just creepy smile.
Yeah.
And then the kind of the baiting him around the ring and all of that. It's like, he's got a plan. He's got a plan. What's his plan? And then he got the shit beaten out of him, and it was like, oh, okay, fair enough, I guess. That
Pretty scary as well, hey?
plan.
The notorious
yeah.
concussion sufferer getting smacked headfirst
Exactly.
into the ring.
But the comeback, that comeback had me on the edge of my seat. I did think he was going to win.
Yeah, the comeback was incredible.
I never thought he
sold
was
me
going to
on it.
win.
Oh, Brett.
Once the comeback started to happen, I did enjoy this match more, because I was totally snoozing at the suplex. Let's wander over to the other side of the ring. Suplex. Let's wander over. Suplex.
7 suplexes, just for the record.
And then the wheezing
Good
and
counting.
stuff after the bear hug. It's like, there's nothing more interesting than a bear hug. But he took all that beating, right? And then he does a little kick, and Brock's rocked.
Yeah.
And then another little kick, and then he's able to totally turn it around. And it's like, there was no slow turnaround or anything. It was just suddenly it was turned around.
But that's Daniel Bryan. That's
that wouldn't
exactly
be
what he's all
real.
about. Explosive comebacks. But it's wrestling.
No, I know it's wrestling, but it has to be has to have some semblance of
Does it?
the scale of the guys. And
Isn't there an
hit,
argument,
because-
Brett, to say that his character was that he was over-egging the suffering, and perhaps he wasn't suffering as much and he was biding his time? I mean, that could be argued. I don't necessarily believe that. But
No, I mean, that could. I don't believe it. That the whole wheezing when he was in the corner and stuff.
Okay.
I liked the comeback, but I just thought it needed more than just 2 little kicks to turn it around.
I mean, this sounds to me like you're basically just saying, "Oh, Daniel Bryan sells too well."
Brock Lesnar sells too well
he
as well
did
with
sell
the
well,
kicks.
but way too well. Look at the size of him.
Don't you think?
He wouldn't be rocked from that.
I think that it was perfect to have that first half of the match, because we basically kind of got trolled, because I was I was writing the same notes as I've written for every Brock Lesnar main event. I was writing down the chants that we had. So we had the boring chants, we had the same old shit, we had huge boos, we had Corey Graves commenting oh, they're in stunned silence, and I was like, yeah, bullshit, they all hate this and it's bollocks and I hate it too. And then all of a sudden we get an amazing Brock Lesnar match, which I haven't seen. We haven't seen for years.
Exactly.
And years.
Apparently, this was his longest match in 4 years.
I would say this is longer than all his previous matches in 4 years combined.
When he was down there on the ground with the crossface on, or whatever it's called, and his bright red face,
yeah.
I was like, I can't
Yes
believe I'm
lock,
seeing
yeah.
this. I've never seen Brock Lesnar suffer like this, or I haven't, not since we've been doing the podcast, not since I've been watching wrestling recently, the last few years.
Exactly. Like, this was easily the most I've enjoyed Daniel Bryan since his return.
Yeah.
Did you really think he was going to tap out to that stuff, though?
When
I
in
did.
that crossface, I thought
did.
there was a moment. Yeah, I thought this is it. But then, admittedly, he did just pull his hand off really easily. Like, oh no, you're not doing that.
Mr. wanting to go back, to UFC is going to tap out to Daniel Bryan in the wrestling ring.
Yeah,
but
Ain't gonna happen.
I did
But
believe there was
they
a
made
chance.
me believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never believed there was a chance.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
waiting for that one F5. I was waiting for one F5 to finish the comeback.
I think this was different to the other Brock Lesnar squash matches that we've had. I think it was a nice kind of return to
It was
Daniel
different.
Bryan at his best.
And it was better than the other matches. I'm not disputing that, but I don't put it up with the match that was before it.
I'd agree with that. I don't think it's as good as the Ronda Charlotte match, just because I hated the first half so much.
But hating the first half made me love the second half that much more.
Yeah,
I think
true.
I
It's
agree. I agree. I think it was like a masterstroke, and as I said, it was the swerve. It was like, this is awful. Here we go. We've had this amazing match and another terrible main event. It's their main event, for God's sake. And then they did that. It was like, shit, this is great. I've never seen this. I've never seen Brock beaten up like this. Obviously, years ago, maybe. But
He had like a shoe print on his face, didn't he?
yeah, and they were hitting each other hard. And I thought, you got the impression that Lesnar was motivated and he was up for it because
I think you get
he was
you
letting
get
Bryan
the impression that Lesnar
beat
likes
him.
it when he gets into a stiff match, like his match with Joe, and even like his match with AJ. Like he always, if he gets a good opponent, he kind of ups his game a bit.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
He performed, and he's a great seller. He is a great seller.
Yeah,
He is. I'm really enjoying Daniel Bryan's kind of Gollum-esque gimmick at the moment. This weird, creepy.
Oh, what, like
I
his
like it
entrance
too,
where he
yeah.
goes to the floor and then walks backwards.
Yeah, it's.
I was like, what's he
it.
doing?
but the whole sort of conversation about heels and babyface is, I think, is relevant in this match because I think, especially in the beginning of the first half of the match,
Yeah,
people didn't know who to cheer for because they're both meant to be heels, and then
definitely.
when obviously Daniel Bryan's comeback. He was effectively a face then. He wasn't a heel. He did it, although he did do it with a low blow, didn't he? I guess so. It was
Yeah.
kind of a bit heelish. But I think that's
Everything's
that's
blurred.
why it matters, the sort of heel and babyface dynamic, just because you don't necessarily know a lot of the characters going into wrestling matches in a crowd necessarily. So you need to know who the good guy to cheer and the bad guy to boo.
Yeah.
I'm sort of enjoying this new grey area of heel faces and facey heels that WWE have started doing.
I think what fans seem to be into now, they're not after like superheroes and these amazing like good guys. They're after people who are like a bit more unpredictable and sort of like renegades. Like they don't want the Roman Reigns and the John Cenas. And maybe there was an element of the crowd last night thinking, I don't want the Ronda, the way that she's been sort of a superhero.
Exactly. Return of the tweener.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
although luckily on Raw she got a better reception on Raw. But it'd be interesting.
I don't think
to
the
see how that
reception
goes.
Ronda got had anything to do with Ronda.
I
really.
think it's Becky. Like
Yeah.
that came across in a number of matches, didn't it? Like what happened to Becky and her not being there. The crowd were really into that.
They were still booing Ronda. So if it didn't have anything to do with Ronda, why boo Ronda? You can chant
Because
Becky.
they were booing.
You're
There
saying
was a
you
load
deserve
of.
it. Ronda didn't do anything. Ronda didn't make Becky get injured, or
But
No,
I don't think they're
I think
booing
it was
Ronda,
Raw.
They're just.
That's what I got.
think-
They were. Booing
I think they're
Raw.
just booing kind of like predictable storylines. They don't, like you said, they don't want superheroes and they don't want villains. They don't want it to be so black and white anymore.
yeah. I mean, I personally can't think of any reason to boo Ronda Rousey at all. But yeah, okay. Anything else on the Brock Daniel Bryan match, or do you think we've done it?
Yeah, no, nothing from me. I'm still a bit confused why AJ dropped the title, but
That was weird. I was so convinced that I was going to end up with an AJ interference at the end of this
yeah,
match.
or just
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan getting absolutely squashed for not going to the Crown Jewel.
Yeah, that's interesting. I am surprised they gave him the belt, considering he didn't go to Crown Jewel.
Yeah,
He's got a lot of sway though in WWE now. Like,
Yeah.
because
he
he's
was
got
very
a
much-
great contract.
Okay. Okay, next match we're going to talk about is the men's Survivor Series match, and I'm afraid things are going to go a bit downhill from the high of those two matches. Team Raw.
Did you not like
Are
this?
I like this.
Yeah, I like this.
God, okay, well we're having a lot of difference of opinions, but that makes for great content.
This is great.
All
We're
over
becoming
the
grey
place.
kind of heel faces. We don't know where we stand anymore.
Exactly.
I'm very middle of the road on this match.
Brett's going to smash me with a kendo stick in about 5 minutes.
All we know is that all the listeners are booing.
Really, if I
convince
watch
me.
a Survivor Series pay-per-view and there's not this sort of match on it, I'll be disappointed. This
What,
is
a Shane O'Mac highlight reel where it's all about him and he gets to be the last man standing for his team. Even though
Oh,
he's
I
the-
know.
the
Well,
worst
he
wrestler.
was the
so
last man
much I
standing, but he got
hated.
absolutely killed, like over and over and over again.
Okay, John.
Yeah.
Why was it a good match?
It's just the sort of match that WWE does really well, like crazy, chaotic, huge spots, just really fun. Plus, it had Rey Mysterio in it, and he was so bloody good.
Oh, God. Rey
Yes.
Mysterio versus Finn Balor.
Even just like
Oh,
when,
that was good.
when Rey Mysterio did the 619 on Braun Strowman at the start, I was out of my seat. I thought that was bloody amazing.
I really enjoyed the Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman kind of feud that they brought into this match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are bloody
Yeah.
strapping the rockets on Drew, aren't they?
Yeah,
Good Lord.
massively. The Scottish Roman.
He looks the part. He is built. Like, that guy is tall and built.
Yeah, he's like the same height as Strowman, isn't he? But
Yeah.
like slightly better physique.
Really
just
athletic
massive.
as well. Like he can
Yeah.
move.
Yeah.
Like that Claymore as well looks such a great move. That Claymore.
Do you think
Yeah.
Heath Slater is seeing like the Jinder push and now the Drew McIntyre push, and he's a bit like, it's
gonna
got to be my
happen.
time. It's got to be my time.
I don't
I've
know.
got
Last time I
kids."
saw him on TV, he hadn't been to the gym. I'd say in about 3 months.
Yeah, he didn't even make the pre-show.
I have to say, like, I know this match, like you say, was like the Shane highlight reel sort of match, but I was just thinking, like, why is Shane there? You've got like Rusev, you've got Almas, you've got, heck, I'd even have Randy Orton. You know, like all these
about that.
SmackDown people, and yet Shane gets to go on the team.
Well, he is the best in the world.
Yeah, he was, yeah. I mean, that's exactly why.
Yeah.
At that awful event.
I did love how the Miz was sort of goading him to do his move all the time. Like, "Go on, get up there."
Yeah, I did enjoy that. I did
That was
enjoy
really,
that.
really good.
I mean, like, is there something to be said that kind of the team that was picked for the SmackDown was a kind of systematic of the story they were trying to tell, which was essentially, you've kind of messed up here, you fucked up, you've lost all the matches, and a lot of it could be put down to the fact that you've not chosen the best team. Like, they could really build that story up. They could easily have Rusev and Almas come out and be like,
yeah.
you know, why weren't
That'd
we
be cool.
involved here?
But then
That'd be
they
cool.
had like the team, right? So they might not have had the best picked team, but there was one team that fought themselves, beat each other up in their
Yeah.
own team throughout the whole match, and yet they still won by a landslide.
But that's the overall story of this entire pay-per-view, is that SmackDown is the B show, and they've kind of, it's finally got away from this whole pretending, like, kind of the hidden secret, no one actually says it, and actually acknowledging, hey, we're listening to the fans, SmackDown has been treated like a B show, let's give them the result there, and now let's build from this. And
Well,
you know,
as long as they do that, because SmackDown has way too much talent.
but SmackDown is
in
going into that
comparison.
massive deal with Fox, isn't it? Like, and
Yeah.
this is wrestling, you know, wins and losses are, that, you know, they're written. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
like it's actual sporting results here. So they're building a
What?
story here.
You
What?
fucking what?
Fuck, what? Shit. Cut the pod, cut the pod. That's it, we're done.
At least we've still got Santa.
They're writing
Speaking
a
of the
story here.
the infighting in Raw, just like the bit where Finn Balor kicked Drew McIntyre was excellent.
yeah,
That was good because that's the kind of thing you wouldn't necessarily expect, or because the way they book
I mean-
Balor is not great.
Yeah.
But that was cool.
That's the part that I did enjoy most from this match, was the infighting. Though, like, I'm
Yeah.
I'm not moaning that they did it. I thought that was a lot of fun.
yeah. The Drew Braun stuff was great, and as I said earlier, Rey Mysterio. Come on, guys, Rey Mysterio.
Do you know what we do need to talk about though? It's someone who we haven't talked about for ages, and he's been having a real big, important role on Raw. Brett, what are your current thoughts on Baron Corbin, your favourite wrestler of all time?
Oh, interesting.
Well, I mean, he's not been wrestling, so that's great. And he's really annoying, so he's doing great as a heel sort of general manager.
I think he's doing
He
brilliantly.
fits that
yeah.
role perfectly.
You've heard it here first.
Yeah.
Brett says Baron Corbin doing great.
Yeah,
That's
being
the headline.
annoying.
I did really enjoy him as the cheerleader in the background all the time. I thought it was great.
Yeah. Did you see that he's going to be in the TLC match with Braun Strowman at TLC?
Yeah.
Well,
That'd be a
So we get to see him
weird
wrestle.
match.
if Braun can recover from his shattered elbow that he shattered only 18 months ago before healing, apparently.
Apparently, he does need surgery. I was reading it just before we started.
He's got all sorts of problems with his knees as well, they're saying.
I'm not surprised. He's 8 feet tall and weighs 500 pounds.
Yeah, and he's always sprinting.
I heard apparently the Big Show fell on Braun Strowman's elbow, and that's why it's injured. Which is
Really?
an
Is that
amazing.
is that
Apparently, that's the legit reason. Is that Big Show did an elbow drop on Braun Strowman's elbow, and it's the Big Show. So, you know,
So typical of the Big Show.
Elbow to elbow combat.
yeah.
It's one of his heel turns. On the Survivor Series match, one last thing. Poor Samoa Joe.
I know. How did they do him like that?
I
Even the crowd chanting bullshit after that
love
happened.
that. I love that so much. So, like, Samoa Joe is the legitimate kind of most intimidating person on Team SmackDown here.
Yeah.
Like, you're looking at the rest of them, and most of them are the B cast or too new in Rey Mysterio's case to be back in the picture.
Yeah.
Or
They
you
had
know,
to get
The
rid of
Miz,
him to
Jeff,
have that
Shane. Yeah, like
big guy power dynamic from Raw to SmackDown.
exactly. Like Joe is meant to be the legitimate threat, and you get rid of him instantly, and it's like a kind of, oh shit, what have we done?
We're fucked.
And yeah, I think that was a really solid case. And let's be honest here, who wants to watch 20 minutes of Samoa Joe just putting people in the coquina clutch?
He doesn't do that much anymore. Come on.
No, well, I have to say, Samoa Joe is not as entertaining as he used to be as a wrestler.
No, he's definitely one of those wrestlers where I feel like I should like them, but every time I watch one of their matches, I get very bored.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I used to love his matches, but yeah, I haven't loved his WWE stint.
So are you? So you saying you agree with the bookers, the Survivor Series bookers, that you'd rather watch Shane O'Mac become the last man standing than you would Joe?
I mean, Shane O'Mac's the best in the world. We've all discussed this.
I like a coast to coast, and I think he's good at them, and I think he's good at all the death-defying jumps that he does, like the air that he gets and the angle that he flies at. I enjoy those big spots.
I've started to really enjoy his stupid little punches flurry, just because
Because
it
they're
always
stupid.
makes me laugh.
That's
always
it.
makes me laugh.
It's
Yeah.
like that Family Guy joke where they just keep doing it until you react to it.
Yeah,
It's definitely on my list of top moves I'd want to take from a wrestler. Like definitely Shane O'Mac's
you could handle that. Well, what did you think when it was him as the last man? Were you thinking?
I kind of
surely
wish
not,
it was.
Please,
I
no.
wish it was the Miz. I thought the Miz should have
Yeah.
been the one to eat the punishment at the end here.
Plus, The Miz would have been so much more entertaining in that one versus those three like Goliaths.
But
role,
did you
'cause
think
The Miz
Shane-
is just great?
Did you think Shane could have won it, or did you
Oh,
think they
not
were
a
going to book
chance.
him to win it?
No.
No,
Not a chance.
I had a couple of seconds where I thought, oh, how are they going to do this? Surely no. I mean, they did make him the best in the world, so there is a chance they could have made him go over those.
I
three
did
big
have
guys.
that. I did have that little twinge of like, oh god, they're not going to do that, are they?
Yeah,
And then they didn't, and I was like, phew.
To be fair, I'd like to see the match where they do that. How on earth are they going to do that? Where he
know.
pins Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre,
It'll
or
be-
Lashley.
3 schoolboy roll-ups.
Oh yeah, with one after the other. Just
also
That would
legs, wriggling legs in the air.
Or they like, schoolboy roll up Lashley and the other two start fighting and, one counts himself out.
Yeah,
Shane McMahon has been in the last 3 Survivor Series matches. That's crazy.
Yeah, because he keeps booking himself in there.
It's because we're getting into WrestleMania season. He needs to get.
Who's he going to
sharp,
jump
isn't he?
off a cage for next?
Oh, dearie me.
That's worked out so well for Kevin Owens' career.
Yeah.
oh dear. Next match, the fourth of the 4 key matches we picked out is the women's Survivor Series match, which kicked off the pay-per-view. Team SmackDown versus Team Raw, of course. The first note I made was a terrible effort from Tamina. She didn't even make any effort to customise her T-shirt. It
Tamina sucks.
Everybody else did
Yeah.
like they like cropped their t-shirt, or they chopped off the arms, or they ripped it a little bit. Tamina just comes out full on like black gear.
Tamina
just a
looks
red t-shirt.
so lost every single time.
Why is Tamina back?
She needs to do her 2-week stint as an enforcer before being quietly written off again.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen.
She's going to tag with Nia eventually, isn't she? The family
Yeah.
connection.
That's interesting, because my first note is that Naomi's entrance always makes me want to watch The Matrix, which after Survivor Series I did. And like not the
I
good
thought
Matrix, like
her-
the bad ones.
Her entrance to this pay-per-view was a bit lackluster. It kind of felt that she just got like a neon dressing gown, just like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's neon, this is it.
And that's why I watched The Matrix Reloaded directly after this. I enjoyed it.
Any other thoughts? What did you think of this match as a whole? I mean, it was okay, wasn't it?
Let's talk about Nia's heat.
Yeah.
That was good.
Oh yeah, all you need
damn.
to do to get Killer Heel Heat is break the most popular performer in WWE's nose just before the biggest match of her career.
Yeah.
This is one of those times when those boos are real, though. It's not pantomime, is it?
Yeah.
It's like,
No,
fuck
no.
you.
But I
She
mean,
played to it though, didn't she? She
The
used
thing
it.
is that this isn't the first time Nia Jax has injured someone. And the crowd are starting to cotton on to it, and that's why it's become a problem. And it's easy for all the wrestlers to, I don't know, protect each other and say everything, but kind of, I don't know, it's just, this does keep happening. So,
Well, WWE are definitely leaning into this, aren't they? The commentators were putting it over, they mentioned it loads.
And there's a lot of talk of backstage heat from, you know, a lot of people going, okay, yeah, as you said, Sam, like, it might be a mistake, but these mistakes keep happening. So
Oh, every wrestler's got backstage heat, though, haven't they?
very true.
yeah, that's true. One bit I really liked was when they had the Asuka Sasha section.
Yeah.
I really want to
Yeah.
see that match.
I thought they had the best battle throughout.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah, that Meteora to the outside was great.
Yeah.
I just really want to see Sasha back in the sort of main event picture, the title picture. I loved like her battles with Charlotte from a few years ago.
Yeah.
It was so good. She's so good.
She's easily one of the most talented wrestlers on the roster, male or female.
Yeah.
They need her to just absolutely beat the shit out of Ronda Rousey. That's the way to do it. I missed Asuka.
Yeah, I know. She brought the octopus stretch in.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, I'm all for that. I love Asuka. She's so entertaining. I love her like shouting in Japanese and Michael Cole translating it.
Yeah. Cool mask as well. Really cool mask
Yeah.
for her entrance.
Yeah.
She was so over the crowd as well. Like the crowd's still massively into Asuka.
Yeah.
I mean, Team SmackDown was a bit shit, to be fair.
I thought this match in the whole, it was fun. There was something bad about it. It just didn't grab me, this match.
It was okay.
Saying Team SmackDown are shit, I thought DeVille and Rose actually looked quite good. They got booked quite strongly in this. They actually got a couple of
Sorry, saying
eliminations.
their shit is too hard. They haven't been given enough development and story of any of these characters to make me care about them. Like, they're good wrestlers individually, but none of
Carmella's
them are
with
really...
R-Truth now, mate.
Sorry,
What are
apart
you
from
saying?
Carmella, who is killing it with her
And
dance
she
breaks.
did a floss as
Yeah,
well.
Yeah.
Keeps doing
That
the
was
floss.
amazing.
Gets
Do you know, the
funnier
other
every
day when I
time.
was off sick, I nearly YouTubed some videos about how to floss. Because I
Mate.
might as well use this time
You've
to
got
become really
broken
good
elbow.
at floss. Oh, good point. It would be rubbish. Good thing I didn't do it.
Mate, no, hold on a sec. You're off with a broken elbow, so you thought you might learn how to floss. That sounds like the worst idea ever.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do it in the end because I thought it would be stupid. But I mean, the elbow is a much better reason not to do it.
Flossing is hard as hell. Flossing is really hard.
I think I can do it.
I think I can do it.
Yeah.
Okay, next time we meet
Not
up
in
for a
front of an
pay-per-view.
audience though.
Yeah, no, we'll do it. We'll post it on YouTube. Okay, let's move on. We have done our 4 key matches. Now we're going to talk about the best of the rest. So we can each pick out something else we liked, whether it's a match or another highlight. Brett, have you got something else you enjoyed?
Mine are my 2 pre-show moments.
Oh,
The
okay.
Drake Maverick interview and the Survivor Series men's tag 10 people, whatever it was. I don't know what it was called, but that was good.
That's interesting. Is Drake Maverick going to make your best of the rest and your worst of the rest?
Yes, he is.
Shocker!
Incredible. That's good. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what you got to do. You want people to love you. You want people to hate you. Sam,
Consummate actor. Buddy Murphy versus Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, that was
Let's
really
give some
good.
love for that match.
Awesome.
I
It was
love
so
Buddy Murphy.
fast and
Wow.
I've got to
it was
admit though, the
awesome.
only two Buddy Murphy matches, singles matches I've seen, are the two that have, the one where he won the title in Australia and this one, because I don't watch any
Yeah.
205 Live.
Me too.
That's
too.
fair. No,
I
stopped with
saw
205
him
Live.
in some tag matches on NXT.
Oh, yeah, back in the day, yeah.
Back
of
when he
course.
was
Yeah.
Blake and Murphy.
That's it.
But he's great.
He's fantastic. And the amount of times he threw Mustafa Ali out of the ring, like off
Yeah.
a turnbuckle or over
Yeah.
the ropes. And my God, does that guy get height?
Yeah.
Yes.
It
They're
was
both
mad.
great.
And the Spanish fly off the announce table, and just
Yeah.
generally,
Oh, that was
really
Spike's
great
Hurricanrana
match.
as well was killer.
Yeah.
This was a match that I had absolutely no care about whatsoever going into it,
Yeah.
and it really just won me over. And by the end of it, I was just like, "Fuck, this is good."
Yeah.
And yeah,
Like the crowd as well. Crowd was silent and then they were chanting, "This
Absolutely.
is awesome." So
a fantastic match.
I would say this was my second favourite match on the card behind Ronda and Charlotte.
Yeah.
okay.
Fair.
So
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah,
was this
I thought it was
your
really good?
was this your best of the rest then? John, or did you have anything else?
Oh, R-Truth.
Those bits were funny.
Absolutely amazing on this pay-per-view. Just turning up in everyone's promo, getting confused about what brand he was on.
Just the return of
Comedy
promos
gold.
was welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Raw men's Survivor Series promo was really funny with
Oh, it was.
Braun going around the locker room not knowing
Yes.
who thingy was.
I really
Leo
enjoyed
Rush.
like Dolph Ziggler telling on Braun and then everyone laughing.
Yeah. The SmackDown one was a bit cringy just because it contained Shane O'Mac, and anything with Shane O'Mac in is a bit cringy. But R-Truth was, he's got such a killer body and he's like 40 odd years old. He's always so funny. He's so great on the mic.
He
Well
is
done.
a very talented, funny person.
Good shout. My best of the rest, probably was going to be the cruiserweight match, but I'd also give a shout for maybe the last third of Nakamura versus Rollins, because I
Had a good
thought it
finish,
was
that match.
pretty boring initially and slow,
Yeah.
but it had a great end, really great end.
Starting to think that about a lot of Seth Rollins matches actually recently.
Oh, I think of that about a lot of Nakamura matches.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But they had the superplex into the Falcon Arrow, which looked really cool.
Cat-like agility.
Rollins kicking out of the Kinshasa, and it all just got really, really good. And that stomp at the end looked really nasty. Terrible cover though. Did you see? Basically, they were just lying down next to each other. And it was
Oh,
just
I
like-
actually like that. I thought that was quite cool.
Yeah.
Like, kind of, they're both exhausted.
both
kind of
exhausted.
thing.
Yeah, I suppose.
And
so.
there was no knee injury in this one, was there?
No
And
knee
that's how
injury.
you can always tell a good Seth Rollins match is when they don't
Good
bother
point.
mentioning the knee.
Good point, Brett.
Yeah.
I also wanted to give a little shout for the little promo they had for Lars Sullivan, who's clearly coming to the main roster, which I
Yeah.
thought was quite
Jeez.
exciting.
Yeah.
That's just what the main roster needs. Another really big dude.
I can imagine Vince like looking through the lineup of NXT and just being like, I want that one.
That one. But he is good. He is pretty good.
He
though,
is
isn't
good.
Yeah.
He is very good.
Well, in NXT,
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think he might be a better Braun Strowman. Like he's got a much more developed moveset than Braun does,
Yeah.
and he's the same size.
his
he's a
freak
better wrestler.
accident, is that what it's called? The freak accident?
accident.
Yeah.
So they're changing it to
Well,
the
good.
Rocky Mountain Monster. I'm not joking. That's apparently what,
What?
it's being billed as. Yeah.
Oh, see, look, this is why I say in NXT, because Vince has got his hands on it now, and he's going to ruin him.
So what I would say with Lars Sullivan and kind of call-ups from NXT is that people who have been at the top of the mountain and had like an extended period of doing really well in NXT haven't really translated as well across to the main roster, whereas those who haven't actually done everything in NXT and have come up to develop a little bit in the main roster have gone on to do bigger and better things like Elias or Carmella and hopefully Lars Sullivan.
Can I
shout.
just caveat though that Elias's big thing in the main roster is just singing every week.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he's
It's
not
like,
doing
he gets
great
a lot
on the
of
wrestling
TV
front,
time,
has
though.
he?
And he must sell a lot of merch as well, I reckon, Elias. Because I've been tempted to buy an Elias t-shirt.
In comparison to how much he was disliked in NXT, he's come a long way.
I bloody hated the Drifter in NXT.
Yeah,
I used to
right.
fast
I
forward
did.
his matches.
I did.
I agree with that, but I think more than a guitar singing gimmick thing, he's not anything else.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
He's got a good elbow drop on him.
And I think like when
And a
he
solid
has
beard.
got to wrestle a couple of times initially, he looks actually pretty good. So I think it's a shame that he's just,
pigeonholed.
fun sing-song time.
Well, they've gone with what works, and the crowd absolutely
Yeah.
love it, and they love him. So let's try and let try and keep positive as we move on to the worst of the rest section.
Oh, the worst is quite funny though.
Yeah,
Is it funny?
Well,
Kind of sad.
we're going to find out now.
it's sad and funny.
What do you reckon? Where should we start? Worst of the rest, match-wise, I'd probably go. Well, I 100% will go, and we all will agree on the tag team match, the Bar versus AOP.
Well, the actual match itself, I thought was great. I really enjoyed. In fact, I think it was my favourite match up until that point.
As soon
And
as the Big
then-
Show came out, I was just like, I know he wasn't in that match, so yeah, maybe I should have overlooked all that and concentrated on the match, but I didn't. I was constantly thinking, can't believe the Big Show is here still.
Yeah.
Just retire.
Yeah. I was definitely like that. I was like, oh my god, the bloody Big Show. But I thought they did a really good job. Like, it was great to see Authors and Pain actually have a decent match rather than just losing to B teams.
How are they supposed to have
Yeah.
any credibility when their manager pisses himself?
Yeah, I mean that's the issue from this match.
Why
So
did they do
stupid.
that? Why did they do that?
Vince McMahon thought it would be funny, and he loved
Yeah,
it,
it
no
was-
doubt.
The thing was, it was enough for like Big Show to pick him up like he was a Teddy sort of thing, and then just hold him there like that. That did enough for what they wanted.
It was
in that
so
moment.
awkward, and there wasn't enough fake urine, was there? It
Yeah.
was like a tiny little dribble. It's like, what's happening here? Is
Yeah.
that
That was the fact that also they sort of zoomed in on it for ages. Like, oh my god, is he
Yeah.
getting an erection? No, he's just. pissing himself.
you could see the bowl, and then I was thinking, because his arms aren't anywhere. Like, how is this actually happening? I started thinking about the mechanics of
Oh
it.
my god! If they start doing like an autoerotic asphyxiation gimmick with him,
Yeah, honestly,
I think it could have. I mean, I don't know if it would have made it work, but it would have been slightly better if at the end, because obviously the distraction made the Authors of Pain win. If at the end, he was on the ramp celebrating and looking like, yes, that was the big plan to distract the Bar so they could win, but he wasn't. He was like cowering away in fear. It was just, it was
the whole
awful.
thing doesn't make sense, especially considering that the Authors of Pain fired Paul Ellering, who is an established tag team manager. Like,
yeah,
that is
and
just
a badass.
bizarre.
A total badass.
Weird.
It's awful. Awful. It felt like we were watching something from the Attitude Era. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have featured on last week's podcast.
It really could have done.
Worst of the rest as well. Jeff Hardy is wearing blue camouflage. I don't know where he's getting it from in this day and age, but he's got blue camo. Just throwing that out there.
What's that shop in Brighton? Cyberdog.
Cyberdog. Yeah, probably from there.
From there.
Okay,
definitely.
cool.
I thought for a minute you were making a joke, like, I don't know where he's getting it from because you can't see camouflage. And I was like, that's a terrible joke. But that wasn't what you were doing, so I
No.
apologise for thinking that.
That's okay. Most of my jokes are shit. Let's talk about Enzo Amore.
Oh, God. Do we have to talk about Enzo Amore?
Why? What happened, Sam? What happened?
Enzo Amore, in disguise, rocked up and took a seat in Survivor Series in the second row behind the two creepy dudes who were there every single pay-per-view.
Don't call them creepy. I was going to try and get one of them on for an interview at some point.
Okay. He was sat behind Tommy Wiseau.
They're like mates now, aren't they? As well.
Okay.
those two?
Of course they are. They spend
Sit
most of their lives
next to each
together.
But we're going to go back to Enzo because
Yeah, do it.
Who's
during
Enzo?
the AOP versus
Nice
the
one,
Bar
nice
match, specifically when they were going to the foreign announce teams, so didn't even make the camera, he stood up on his chair, started cutting a promo, and the crowd, I don't think they were really into it, a mixed bag, and then he got tackled down by security, specifically the woman who stopped Gronk at WrestleMania, so she's starting to get a bit of pedigree.
She's got form.
Yeah.
Should be debuting at Royal Rumble, I reckon.
Exactly. And he got escorted out of the building and made a complete twat of himself, really.
What a surprise!
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Because I didn't. I mean, did you guys notice anything happening during that time?
No.
No, I didn't see it at all. I caught something on Twitter afterwards, and I was like, "Wow, when did that?"
I thought there was some weird crowd and chanting
Yeah.
going on during the Nakamura Rollins match.
Yeah.
Whenever they do the international announce tables, that is a prime moment for lots of plus 10 seconds skipping on the network, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I'm always happy to see Funaki's smiling face.
Nah, skip it.
Come
Skip it
on,
all.
Funaki. So, yeah, poor Enzo Amore. He's a pathetic embarrassment. is what I would say.
Yeah,
He's
agreed.
just an awful human being.
It's just
Yes.
sad at this
Let's
point.
not waste any more time on him.
Yeah.
From one awful human being to another. Brett, have you got any words for the rest?
Oh, mine was the Drake peeing on himself.
Okay, good. Sam, can I remind you of what you text us, something that Tom Phillips said during the Seth Rollins match?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
so
yeah, that was bad.
Tom
That was
Phillips
bad.
on Seth Rollins coming out says, "The man whose career has burned so bright it lit the skies on fire here in Los Angeles."
Yeah, that's
Timing.
Bad.
Come on.
It's like he watched Ronaldo absolutely kill it on Takeover, and he thought, I need to add some flavour to my commentary.
Yeah.
And then he chose the totally wrong way to do it.
That's so bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's such a weird choice.
I had to rewind it to think, like, did I just imagine that? Like, just
Yeah.
thoughtless.
Obviously, we're referring to the terrible situation in California, but obviously everybody will know about that if they watch Survivor Series because of all the appeals, which I'm not complaining about, for the record. But is that it? Worse for the rest? Anything else?
No,
Should we move on?
It's pretty solid.
Yeah. Okay. Star performer then. We're each going to pick somebody who we think deserves the MVP for the pay-per-view. I'm going to go first. I'm going to go for Ronda, just so I can talk about her before Brett does. I think basically she had the same sort of amazing pace and interesting, different offense that we've seen in the past, but she also showed a few new moves that we haven't seen, and most importantly, she just showed that she can take one hell of a beating and is a total badass and is just amazing. She sells brilliantly, great facial expressions, and yeah, I love her.
Good choice.
Brett,
Yeah.
all of the above?
I had all of the above. I had Charlotte and Ronda both as the stars, co-stars, because I thought they both put on an absolutely amazing match.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, actually. Charlotte deserves the shout as well. John?
Yeah, I'm going with Ronda as well. She took an absolute beating and still showed up at Raw and wrestled last night.
Yeah, that was great. And Sam?
I went with Drake Matt. I went with Charlotte. I really enjoyed the beatdown Charlotte put.
Yeah. Good stuff. What a match. Oh, I love it. I loved it. Overall rank, it's time to give the pay-per-view a score out of 10. And let's have a look. Evolution got a 8.5. So it might be tough to beat that. The next highest is Hell in a Cell with a 7.8. We've actually had some pretty decent pay-per-views recently from WWE.
Yeah.
So we're going to each give it a score out of 10 and then work out the average. Where should we start? Sam?
For me, it's an 8 out of 10.
Ooh. Wow.
That is high. John?
See, I was going to go with 7 because although I really enjoyed it, a lot of the matches, I don't know, didn't really mean much. So I'm going 7. I can't believe I'm lower than Sam. I feel like I need to reassess some things.
And I'm sick.
Exactly. Brett, what about you?
I'm with John. I'm at 7. I thought there was some really good bits and a great match, but decent, really decent, better than their usual middle of the road nothing.
Yeah, and it's difficult because I'd love to score it really high, and at the end of it, I was thinking that was brilliant, but there was a lot of sort of okay stuff before those two matches, so I'm going to go for a 7.5. Sam is going to work out the average.
That's a 7.375.
Ooh.
Or 7.3.
Yeah, that's a bit more catchy. 7.3. So that's the third best pay-per-view WWE wise
ever done, ever.
Of the last 10 pay-per-views that we started doing the scoring for. So yeah, really good score, really good pay-per-view, and we're going to find out what the listeners think of it after this.
Back suplex on the apron from Kenny Omega. Literally on the edge of the apron.
John, what did the listeners say?
Will Superkick, he's been in touch. He says, very entertaining, some top quality matches in Rollins Nakamura, Buddy Ali, Rousey Flair, and Lesnar.
Rosie.
Yeah, Rosie.
Rosie's back.
Good old Rosie.
Rosie's back. He also says the SmackDown versus Raw matches on the main show were entertaining enough. Only perplexing thing would be why the pre-show SmackDown win doesn't count, and why Raw did a clean sweep.
Apparently, that was a communications error. SmackDown weren't meant to win, apparently.
In the pre-show, is that legit?
Allegedly.
Yeah, really?
Allegedly.
Interesting. Anyway, moving on. Loser Rate has also been in touch. He says, Ronda Charlotte might have been my favourite WWE women's match ever. Felt like a proper nasty, ugly fight. Not huge on Charlotte's crazy acting, but the finish worked, and Ronda is a better wrestler than most give her credit for still. Top 5 WWE women's matches? Question mark. Oh.
Question mark. I loved it. It's definitely in my top 5 from the last few years, along with Charlotte and Ronda, and then Charlotte and Sasha, Charlotte and anyone really.
Charlotte, Becky,
Yeah.
Sasha, Bailey. Well, there's some good matches out there. Anything with Mickey James in as well. I mean, that's fair.
Okay, move on, John. Move on.
Loserweight also says Brock Bryan was incredible. First match in forever where I genuinely felt scared over what was happening. Then got me off the sofa in an excitement. Bryan's character work and Brock's selling, especially the yes lock, was great. Best Brock match, best main event of the year. I don't think it's the best main event of the year.
Let's just hold on a second because Okada versus Omega happened this year.
I think
He's talking about
WWE.
WWE, surely.
All right, fine.
Don't be contrary.
And if he is, then I think he's right.
Ooh.
And the reason I think this is because I researched it. But yeah, looking on Wikipedia at the main events, if you think about all of the other Brock Lesnar matches, we can discount all of those, can't we?
Okay.
Then you've got things like Elimination Chamber earlier on in the year. I mean, that was all right, but it doesn't really stand out. You had the Fast Lane was AJ Styles against John Cena, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin, and Dolph. That was pretty good. But then you've just got like Dolph versus Rollins, Undertaker, Triple H, obviously Ronda versus Nikki Bella at Evolution, and then you've just got all the.
I mean, I feel like
D-Generation
you're
X
really
versus-
underselling Taker versus Triple H.
Okay, sorry, Loserweight, you're wrong. Taker
There we
versus
go.
Triple H
There we go.
is the best.
So we're saying it is the best main event of the year and probably the best Brock match for quite a while.
Yeah.
for at least 3 or 4 years,
Yeah.
surely.
I mean, I think that's probably easy because we often look at the main events and aren't that excited by it. So
If only we included Takeover.
yeah.
I still haven't watched
Okay.
Takeover. Finally,
else?
Heel Nick Payne, long-term listener, has been in touch. He said, love Charlotte at the end of their match because it starts to set up WWE Horsewomen versus MMA Horsewomen. God, that's really hard to say when you... Weird that Raw had a clean sweep. Best Brock match for years. Loving Daniel Bryan's new attitude. He's just acting like a dick, lol. This weekend was all about Takeover, bro.
Oh yes, Heel Nick Payne.
Boy.
Yes.
Good point. And talking
Yeah.
of Takeover, thank you very much, by the way, listeners. Thank you, John, as well.
Yes, thank you, listeners.
Excellent. We're going to have a very quick talk about Takeover because now is time for Hardest Question of the Week.
Question week.
So, Hardest Question of the Week, we very simply asked on Twitter, just so we'd get the chance to talk about it, what was the best match at NXT TakeOver War Games? And before we get to the listeners, John, what did you think?
Well, I thought it was okay. No, John has bailed on us.
Was that actually your impression of John?
It wasn't bad, was it? My elbow hurts.
It was... Oh my god! Yeah, to explain, John,
Mean.
we
So
said
mean.
we said we were going to do this, and John was like, "I haven't seen it. I don't want spoilers." So he's taken off his headphones and he's walked away from his microphone, and we're going to call him back in. So we could just slag John off.
I'm not good at running. Cool.
So, what was the best match at NXT TakeOver War Games?
Oh, boy.
Heel Nick Payne says easy. Riddle versus Ono. That was very funny. Loserweight says it's between Black Gargano and Ciampa Dream, but I'm going to go with the former. Both matches had tons of character, drama, and great graps, but Black Gargano was more immediately thrilling for me, perhaps just because of the story going in. Will Superkick says if the main event had perhaps been a touch shorter, I would have been tempted to go for that. All matches were great, but I'm going to give best honours to Black versus Gargano. And Dunholm Devil said, I've never popped so much as I did during the main event. I was just so happy watching it. Finally, old Mr. Beerface says, Black versus Gargano edges it, but they were all unreal, as usual with takeovers. Side note, I called them 4 for 4, and I have proof. So I've been dressing as the genius ever since.
There were 5
fully
matches.
Of glory and renown. What's that?
There were 5 matches.
Yeah, old Mr. Beerface.
Didn't include Riddle Ono. What the hell?
Yeah, didn't call that one, did you?
Come on.
What
I
do you
mean, he
think?
didn't know it was going to
I
happen.
mean, that's no
because it
excuse. You
wasn't on
can't
the
dress as the
card.
genius and not include a match.
Just very quickly, what was your favourite match?
Oh, shit.
Because we can't do a full review.
Oh, I'm actually going to go Ciampa versus Velveteen.
Boom. Me too.
I'm going to go for Black Gargano.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you can give me a sentence at least as to why you think that. Brett, why do you like Ciampa?
I thought I just love Velveteen Dream. Like he's just so good, and there's so much character in the match between these two, and there really was a back and forth, and I was like out of my seat at 2 points when I thought Dream had won it.
Yep, same.
Yeah,
same.
agreed.
I
I was like totally all in on this, and like totally gutted when he didn't. But just what a
so
match.
good, so good.
Yeah.
What
Agreed.
a pleasure to see Aleister Black back and just kicking ass.
He's
And
amazing.
Johnny Gargano, I was a little bit worried for him. I thought, you know what, after the amazing face run with Ciampa, you know, what's going to happen now? Is he going to fall into obscurity? What a match! Oh,
Man,
god damn.
he really is Mr.
Yeah.
Takeover, isn't he? If you think of the amount of 5-star matches he's had.
So
I don't-
talented.
I don't know if this was a 5-star or not. I haven't seen if there's been any ratings for it.
I mean, hey, if I'm rating with stars, both those matches got 5 stars from me.
yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. And then a bit of a shout for the War Games match. It was very long. I kind of preferred last year's with the different teams. You know, having a few different teams rather than just 4-on-4. But still,
We don't have a lot of time for this,
Shitting
but
hell.
I don't like war games.
Oh, blimey!
what a bombshell!
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
have to say, and
was
seeing
great.
Pete Dunne in it as well was just
Yeah.
elevated that enjoyment. I have to say.
And then did you see Pete Dunne? 24 hours later, was back in England, back in Birmingham, welcoming the birth of his new child.
Whey, good
At
for
48
him.
hours. So congratulations to him. Okay, we'd love to do more about Takeover, and you never know. One day we might do a full pod about it, but until then, we'll just keep it brief. And let's call back in John.
Hi, guys. Sorry.
Hello.
Hello, John. Okay, well, we just talked about the incredible events at Takeover very briefly.
Can't believe CM Punk was there.
Oh, don't spoil it.
I'm not going to watch it now. There's no point. No point.
Right, so that's that then. Next podcast is going to be a big one because it's our 50th episode ever, and we are going to be talking about our top 50 favourite wrestlers right now. All 4 of us have put together a list of 50 wrestlers, and we've collated it, and we've got the final 50, and we're going to use the next podcast to run down that list. And also, we want you guys to get involved, and the way you can do that is by sending us your top 10 favourite wrestlers at the moment. So we're not talking about best, we're not talking about most successful, we're talking about favourites. It can be men, it can be women, it can be tag teams, whatever you like. Send us a top 10 list, and we're going to collate together all of the listener lists and see how similar it is to us.
Can we just
So that's
clarify
coming up next week.
in that?
Yeah.
Like, don't send us like a top 10 men, top 10 tags, top 10 women. Just top 10 favourite wrestlers.
Yeah, you have to
Absolutely.
do it.
Yeah. Do it. Please do it. We've had quite a few submissions.
We've
and,
had
you know,
loads.
the lists vary wildly.
There
so
is
it'd be good to
one
get some
standout
more.
wrestler who is seemingly coming out on top. So,
Yes.
spoilers.
And I think he features quite highly on ours as well. So we're going to do that. We're also, as it's our 50th episode, it's a bit of a celebration. We're going to do a big giveaway. We're going to have some sort of competition with loads of cool prizes and stuff. So there'll be lots more information on that podcast and on social media after that. So we can look forward to that next week. If people want to send us the top 10s, Brett, what's the best way to do it?
Well, the most popular way is social media, and we are at Hardest Part Pod on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. But if they want to go old school, they can email us to hardestpartofthering@gmail.com.
Nice.
And if they want to buy any of our merch, our crap, that's hardestpartofthering.bigcartel.com.
Do you say our crap?
Yeah.
Yeah, our wrestling
Sell it,
crap.
Well, just for the record, listeners, Brett designed everything on there. So if he says it's crap, he should know. But it isn't. It's amazing. And the T-shirts are so soft. Okay, that's it. Thanks very much for listening. And until next time, episode 50 is goodbye from me, Adam. Goodbye from Sam.
Hello, I'm John. See ya. Bye.
Whoa, what?
Good. Yeah, you'll find out when you listen to it, John.
Oh,
goodbye, John.
Goodbye.
And goodbye from Brett.
Ta-ra.
That was the hardest part of the ring.
God, I think we're going to come to blows, aren't we, Sam?
That is the hardest part of that ring. On the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring.
Weird that Raw had a clean. Oh, I'm just going to start that again. Weird that Raw had a queen. Oh, fucking hell.
Weird that Raw had a queen.
Weird that Raw had a clean sweep.
Weird that Raw had a clean sweep.
She sells seashells on the seashore.
Okay, you're going to have to do the whole thing again.
Oh, fucking hell.